Well, hi, how are you, Patty?
What can I help you do?
Well, trying to remember how we had the furniture arranged in here. You think we should just leave it like it is, or?
Really, I do. Well, cool. Do we need all 5 chairs up here? We can put another chair here.
Yeah, I've got 5 up there, but these chairs are so wide, it's hard to get them around one.
Yeah,
But all 5 of the board members need to be up here.
that's true.
Trying to get the camera set up.
Hey, I see me.
Okay, it's working so far. But my stupid phone is getting so old that the battery won't last long, so I've got to plug it up.
I don't. It doesn't look like there's very many cars here for me today. Does to you?
It's probably not going to be a lot here. Yeah, they're all right. But you might want to load that just as you switch over. to
I did load it, but now it's gotta do something else.
this. Okay, you have to hook to the Wi-Fi here. It's a Pleasant Place office.
I have to go to settings, so I'm gonna do it.
How about that? Be on the same Wi-Fi. And the password is Basic 9588. That was the one we used to do.
Here comes the rest. It's just out right now.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't spell it. Dizzy right. D-I-Z-Z-Y. D-I-Z-Z-I-E. D-I-Z-Z-Y. That was the default when we bought the router, and I just never changed it. So you're on the latest, you know, times.
It sounds pretty good. Okay, here.
So you're on there now. And it probably, I don't know if it'll work with two phones at the same time, but all I can do is turn this one off for a second.
No, don't turn it off. Do
I'm
not
afraid
touch
to
it.
turn it off, but
Don't touch it.
Morning.
Morning.
yeah, I think I'd have to turn mine off and I'll be turned it on.
Okay, so we got it on there. It's just not happening. We had
Just,
we're streaming live.
Some technical IT.
yeah, it's always, and what's funny is, on here, everything looks flipped, but when you're on the internet looking at it, it's flipped the other way.
Did you go on your Facebook to look at it?
No,
I can look online.
yeah, look at it, see what it looks
I
like.
think I can.
Make sure. I'm just figuring if I see
What's it
here,
under?
they can't see.
Well, do you have,
Oh, gosh.
well, you either have to go to YouTube and search for Pleasant Place Condo Condominium Association.
Yeah.
Or if you go to your email, I sent an email to everybody, had a link on it.
Okay, let me just go to Pleasant Place.
Morning, Mercy.
Morning. Good, how are you? I figured out if I sit here by being, I can't be seen by the camera.
Oh, okay.
Well, you look a lot better in front of the camera than me.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Focus that on. Yeah.
Okay, Eddie's out of town. He said he went to,
Okay.
what's the
Oh,
line?
he's not on the-
He emailed it to him. Or he can look it up on YouTube.
Well, I'm kind of, so you said it's under Pleasant Place Condo Association?
So maybe they's around a little bit.
It should be. It's either that or PPCA. Search.
Oh, no, sorry, we're PPCA.
Yeah.
It's got so much to do there.
It's not gonna be
We've been away with a while. Well, we just called and wasn't excited about too much about where we're going anyway.
No, probably it's started out.
Okay, got it.
And
End of this month, and that's.
Condominium Association.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just not, we really, you've got to go a little further south. If you look at the warm weather.
Tampa, Sarasota.
Yeah, get on down to. So we're, I don't know. We are.
Do we need to give everybody a copy of the building rep report or just talk?
I talked about it. That's pretty good. You know,
Print out the,
we really don't want to go over my
I printed
mind.
out the agenda for your phone copies of the agenda here.
Thank you for always doing that.
And, everybody can sign in with that.
And right here, let's just put this, on this marker right here, we put it on this front table.
Yeah. And then they can pick up a copy.
Doesn't look like there's hardly anybody here.
I said the same thing.
Well, that's what we went up to four-way, had breakfast, and drove around the complex. That's why we said something.
There's a kid out by here. I'll tell you,
It's real. Yeah.
I say, you and I.
Well,
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you? Hey, Kelly.
Kelly, we've met several times. Terry, please.
Well, I don't recognize you that sort of thing, so.
That's probably
And
very
I
true.
wish you had, and all that kind of thing.
At least one grandchild on the inside.
Hey, well, me too, I used to have one on my hip and hold my hand and all that.
I wouldn't have needed it any other way though.
Oh, that's what
I'm
my
lost.
place.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, that's why I think I'm over here.
I did on YouTube.
I know.
Well, I
Ours
don't
are
know.
all in one.
search for PPCA.
Because
Um,
it's been too cold to swim for the last month. Still, oh,
We have a cooler.
And I wonder if you got my email since you got that.
Cool about it, open the clothes, we take care of it, but, we don't want to close till after Halloween. And he's like, you know how cold it is when I put my hand through it? And I'm so,
Good
"Hi,
morning.
how are you?"
C1.
Oh, I'm Patty Kelly, I'm E6, nice to meet you, man.
I'm Terry, please. See one.
You may
What
not
was it?
you may not have my email.
What it was? Well, if
I
you
forgot
got
my
that-
sweatshirt, I
Yeah.
got them all home.
Yeah, good, good, you bitch up.
How are you? Yeah, Matt Kelly. Nice to meet you. Yes, sir.
He's new here.
Oh,
Just
okay. Yeah.
caught P1.
Yeah.
A lot of new people these days.
Oh, yours looks better than mine.
Is there another list like the
It doesn't
one we
matter.
had? Patsy had the thing.
It's only been.
I have to generate one after this and we'll email it.
Yeah, yours looks.
Because, I mean,
I don't know, but I just did that in the
Our
last
neighbors,
minute.
I'm going out there.
I did it this
On the
morning.
porch to talk to them, and she's been on the phone. Or she'll come over to me and one of the kids needs something.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm ever going.
You're fine.
It is nice. Hey, here. He tell you Gmail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go real quick there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, is anybody else warm? Just me, because I've been running around like a chicken.
Well, listen, I had in my mind, woke you up this morning, we gotta get dressed, starts at 9 o'clock.
Oh,
We were down here at 9 o'clock.
Where's everybody sitting?
Up here.
Everybody got a
That's
they
it.
always before have it on
This would be
the Alabama game day.
you. Mm-hmm.
It
We
seems.
have before.
Yeah. So I was telling my wife, I said, no, it can't be today. It's gotta be on the Alabama day. We're playing Texas A&M today.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you better make that
They
plan.
have-
Eddie is out of town.
Okay. Oh,
Did you have anything?
girl, we rode in at 4 o'clock yesterday. I'm staying off at
Oh,
3.
very good. Oh, Patty, I found it.
Are you in?
It's 2023 PPCA. Let me, well,
So I'm April. We've spoke before about the workout stuff, but I don't think we met face to face. Okay. Yeah, that's the same one, right, that we talked to and, okay, so.
I was born and raised around here. My brother, I don't know, he passed, but my brother used to know on Croach.
Okay, yeah.
You know, sit there?
And
Right here. Whichever one you're sitting.
when the old.
I'm sitting here.
Oh, that's what you got.
Okay.
I mean, let me walk by the camera.
okay, here, it's delayed.
The one in
Small
Arkansas.
church, rest of it is falling through, so it's delayed like.
Last year, I worked on this since Austin.
Well, that's Gloria Mom. I'm originally from Iris. But we
Yeah.
could always.
It's like 5'7".
Consider it similar to
So if it- You said it anyway.
I would just take it.
Call it.
But I'm like, you know, we'll talk.
Here's, here is the,
Can you send the link?
here, I took a screenshot.
Where did he call last night?
It's
Last
the
night.
2023 PPCA. I can text that to you.
Shoot, ready everything, huh?
2023 PPCA annual meeting. I can take anybody's,
YouTube channel.
I'll text with you and Eddie.
Yeah.
That way, in case somebody calls while we're doing this.
My work email, some of my personal is now, just have it.
I could brought my coat with me.
Oh.
I'll take it.
Now we'll get this thing out here.
I don't think I have.
I might not pick
I don't have. I just know.
This is my caffeine in the morning.
I do coffee thing.
Well, since we thought we were supposed to be here at 9, we just went down to 3. I highly recommend their breakfast.
They do have good breakfast.
Where's
Their
the-
eggs.
3-way.
Through.
Oh, 4-way.
Boy.
Oh,
Four-way. 4-way.
Three-way, as in Jackson.
Yeah.
It's straight up. Try that, take that.
Now, I like Esha's.
We have never, we've eaten lunch there, but we've never had breakfast, but we,
Esha?
up on the
Yeah,
hill.
across from Kurt's?
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah,
says
they
it's
are, I
great.
have had breakfast there a long time, it's good.
It's good, and they're quick. They turn the tables quickly, and
Mr.
No,
Low
it
Brown
is
goes
working.
every
Yeah, it
day.
is working. I just,
I went down to the signal if it was working on my.
I texted this to Rusty in case people call, but it's 2023
Yes.
PPC, yeah, and we checked. it, so.
Okay.
There's
Yeah,
not-
good, thank you.
It was shut off. When we came in yesterday afternoon, I said, where is everybody? Good morning. Good.
Well, man,
Glad to see you.
see you. All right.
Been a while.
I know.
The boy done
they
really well.
didn't need them.
I'm good, how are you? He's good, he's really good. He'll probably show up.
Sign sheets right there and pick up one of those agendas.
I got the email, thank you.
Did you?
Yeah, we have 2 more regular season games. And then so we'll be playing.
Hey, how you doing?
It seemed like.
I don't know, right, whatever, but apparently it's been a long.
I'll be in your way right
Oh, no, you're good.
now.
Yeah. I would say that.
That's why I sit on the side, so I'm literally.
That's right. Yeah, we told Patty the same thing, I said, we gotta get back to Irish for like 2:30.
Oh, yeah.
For the game.
Yeah, it's a short one, right?
Yeah, I was like, yes. Matter of fact, we were in Severe, we've been there the last couple of days for our son was the high school golf tournament.
Yeah.
Could leave in Knoxville, yet the latest there from the track.
Yeah.
On 40, it was backed up from downtown all the way. I mean, past Cedar Bluff. It's a way, out west. So looked like they were all rolling in.
It's gonna be a good place to be today.
Yeah, a little bit.
I hope so.
Yes, because her residents were.
Oh, did she?
One of her best friends.
That's just because I'm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
That place is good. Yeah, the dive that we made as a team, the state high school golf tournament. So it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, still in the Severe golf club, so right off that main drive. All over the leaders. I think like cabs.
Yeah.
We had to walk in unless you rent cars.
You got some exercise.
3 days.
I don't want to see it, I'm like, you see me.
Well, you know, that's gonna be a great place. to have a plan. Yeah,
We-
I'm sure it's, they know right where it's
Put
at.
them in boxes and.
Yeah.
Still, I think that'd be,
Yeah.
electricians, boxes, there's cable and all kinds of stuff sitting around the fireplace. Saws on the porch still. We're there.
It takes a minute.
Good to wake up back there again.
I was gonna introduce Dan, I'm Terry, C1. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Hello, how are you?
It takes a
Yeah.
minute.
How's it going back in the hole?
Getting closer.
It's dry,
Yeah.
it's dry back
Yeah,
there.
it is dry. I guess we kind of get started.
Clint, you sign in when you come in?
That's right.
Sign in.
Everybody sign in then?
You're welcome to sit here if you want.
They just start
Sure,
bouncing notes.
That's right.
Like you call it, that's why I sit there. Don't go pray for.
I don't, does anybody know of anyone else that's coming that's just not here?
What's what happened, man?
Thank you for everything.
Well, we generally start off and introduce yourselves. There's always somebody that maybe you haven't met, and I know Terry's been going around and talking to everybody, but just again, in case somebody missed somebody, maybe start with Ben and go around this way.
Okay, I'm Ben Shepherd in Unit D4.
Patty Kelly, I'm in Unit E6.
Rusty Robinson, my wife Pam, in A3.
April Beasley, we're in A5.
Clint Hunt, E2.
Terry McLeese in C1.
Mary Ann Hurst, C3.
Dan Holmes, F4.
Matt Kelly, E6.
And I'm Lindsey Kirk, E1.
All right. Well, Renzi, of course, is a new owner, but a family member of Miss, forgive me, maybe you could explain it easier than I can. We won't welcome you to the association, but,
Absolutely.
yes.
Well, I'm Lindsey Kirk, I'm Connie Pittman's brother.
Right.
Phil Pittman bought this place several years ago. Phil passed away a little over a year ago. Sister started getting a little bad health, wanted to go to town, so it's back when Phil bought the place, and then again kind of had a feeling. I told him, I said, if you ever get rid of the place, I want it.
Yeah.
And then my sister decided she wanted to move, she opened her mouth, and I said, yes.
Well,
Like I told everybody, I was raised here, been around Love County all my life.
well, we know you've been around a lot ever since, the unit has been in your family there, and I welcome you as the official owner. We've got 3 more new owners that none of them actually are attending today. In B2, Gene, it's listed Gene, Mark, and Mike Spain. They are from Gleason, Tennessee. Known these people for years and years and years. And Miss Lynn is Gene's wife, but they're really enjoying being here and looking forward to spending a good amount of time here. Then Don and Kate Oliver bought G4 from the Oaks. Don and Kate were actually owners of Phillips' unit there at one time. That's Philip Massey, didn't see. But they bought back in here in the late summer. They're looking forward to getting back into the pleasant place. And then John and Mandy Davidson, they're in H2. John and Mandy, Paris natives, always been very involved out in the lake area. And, really excited. John's wanted one of these condos for years and years, so good to have him down here too. If we could get, everyone's was emailed copies of the 2022 meeting minutes. If there any discussion, we typically avoid reading them at this time, just if there's no discussion on them or any corrections, we need a motion to approve the 2022 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This is the year that Ben's board position comes up. We rotate on a 5-year term, and we have mailed everyone proxies. The people that turned them back in all voted for Ben. I've got a couple in my, somewhere in my stack of notes here too. And there we are. But I suppose we just need to have a motion to reinstate Ben for another 5 years. Would be Philip makes that motion. Is there a second? Second. Okay. Matt, second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Tom Zio Havas.
All right.
He talked about retiring.
We talked about it. We won't let him go.
I'm like, we're just not ready.
Appreciate all you do. Somebody does. We appreciate all you do. You're getting old, somebody needs to take over for too.
Well, Ben does a number of stuff and is responsible for basically all the communication that you all get comes through Ben. And we get, he kind of prepares it, types it up, and then other people, I'm not too good at the clerical stuff that he's doing in the office for us, and it's really appreciated. And he's also our resident lock expert.
Handrail locks.
You know.
Handrails are hopefully done forever.
And they're awesome too, by the way.
Which that kind of brings us to the next point here, the about the locks. We want to remind everybody it's broken locks are to be repaired at homeowner's expense. We have to maintain also a pass key on these locks. If you have a problem with one, which we had one, I had trouble with mine, wire came loose on the battery, but it's just a matter of soldering it back. But we've had a couple that have had to contact Sledge, and they've, made arrangements to repair or replace locks.
Replaced it for free so far.
So far, they've been.
Theoretically, the warranty's already run out, but they still replaced a couple this year.
What needs to happen if we do have a lock and you've got to contact the manufacturer to get it replaced, if we need to take the tumbler out of the original lock and transfer it to the new lock. So we keep a key available for a pass key for Jeff and Justin. They have to get into your unit, and a pest control and any other thing necessary. I had to let somebody in last weekend because of a dead battery, which brings up another point. It's time to put fresh batteries in your lock about twice a year, about in the fall when the time changes and the spring when it flips back. So, but if you get locked out, that's the only way we got to get you back in.
By changing the lock cylinder, where you put your key in, you take the lock off the door, and there's one screw that you take out, swap the cylinder out, and when you swap
I'm sorry, this is Eddie. He can hear us, but he couldn't contribute, so he's on speakerphone now if he needs to say something.
Oh, good. Talk, ready?
Hey,
There's like a 5-second delay in the video.
Ben, do you know what type of lock that is?
Sledge. And
No,
it's
lock,
it's the one we have.
Double A's, triple A?
One we have is the Bluetooth lock. I forget the model number, but they've discontinued.
What batteries does it use?
Oh, it takes four AA batteries,
Okay.
but nowadays you got to be careful with batteries. The new we're getting feedback. These super duper batteries that they advertise all the time that'll last longer and everything. This lock won't work with them. It's gotta be a plain old, AA alkaline battery. And definitely not a lithium battery, and don't get some off-brand thing. I mean, you're only having to put them in at most every 6 months. I've been able to get mine to last a year, but, I'm not here every day, so it depends on how much you use your door. If you change them out every 6 months, you'll never have to worry about them running down. And, they recommend, either Everready, plain alkaline batteries, or, Duracell. Don't get some off-brand. And, because that's the only two batteries that they tested it with in their lab, and they know they work good. Anything else may or may not, you know what I mean?
That's good advice, because I'm using some sort of cheap off-brand, Harbor Freight battery, so that's, I appreciate you saying that.
Well, if you gotta go,
I need to
unfortunately,
swap it out.
if you gotta grab them down here at the lake, you're stuck with a lot of times just what the dollar store's got, and that's not a good option.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying it.
I've always used Duracell,
Okay.
and, like I say, on mine, it's been lasting about a year. Because I've just been making it last as long as possible just to see how long it lasts. But the safest thing to do is to change it first time you're at the lake in the spring, and then change it in the fall, every 6 months.
For those of you that have Wi-Fi in your condo, if you don't have it, this BR400 Wi-Fi adapter is a really good add-on for your lock. I mean, it allows you to monitor your lock anywhere, from anywhere. Also, note you can see your battery condition and
It'll notify you when it
type of
starts.
stuff. So if you are out of town and you need to let someone in, you can control your lock that way. I bought one back in the summer, but I had to wait a couple of months to get it. They're getting hard to get. But it's about $60.
Ordered from Slade.
I ordered it off Amazon, actually,
I checked,
just got mine waited,
I checked Amazon the other day, they still have some, but it said limited quantity, so they're gonna run out pretty soon. So if y'all want one, I'd order it right now.
Every now and then, one of those locks will pop up somewhere. I was in Lowe's a couple months back, and I saw one on display there, and they had a $69.95 price on display on our lock, sitting in there. And I asked them, I said, how many of those have you got? And she checked and said, well, I guess they're all gone. We don't have any. I said, do you have any in any stores, anywhere? Can you pull any? No, but if you happen to, look one up or something and see a good deal on it, it's something to, to keep them consistent. It's not, I don't think it'd be out of the question that the association might, if we could find some at a deal, that maybe should buy some. In
Just
case
add a
we
little
need
bit of extra.
somebody has a failure,
Well, they're very reliable. The couple that we've had problems with, I'm not convinced that it's the lock's fault, but they replace them free anyway. Because it could be operator fault. And but this Wi-Fi adapter, I highly recommend you purchase that if you have Wi-Fi in your unit, because it makes the lock work faster, more, and you can monitor it when you're away from here. You can check to see, make for sure your unit is locked, and you can tell if somebody goes in, and like during the wintertime, you may not know, but Jeff goes in everybody's unit and just to make sure your refrigerator is working and stuff like that about once a month. And every time he does, I get an alert on my phone that he came in there. So I know who came in and what time they were. I mean, you can tell right to the minute when they come in and when they left. So that's a real nice feature about these locks. But if your lock, the ones that have broken, believe it or not, instead of replacing it with the exact same lock, since they're discontinued, they're giving us the newer version, which is the same lock we have here at the clubhouse. And this has already got Wi-Fi built in. But since some of the homeowners didn't have Wi-Fi, when we bought these back 3 or 4 years ago, we got the Bluetooth instead of the Wi-Fi because it wouldn't do any good for some to get it. Plus, we got a deal of buying 50-something at a time on this particular model, and it was $100 per lock cheaper than the Wi-Fi lock. So it would have cost us $5,000 more to have gone to the Wi-Fi lock. And these were bought for about $150. The Wi-Fi lock's $250. So
And how much is the little Wi-Fi?
$60.
60.
That'll,
So,
what it is, it's a Bluetooth
yeah, I have one.
connector to your lock. So you just plug that in, any plug near your front door. And it changes it from a Bluetooth lock to a Wi-Fi lock. That little box will connect by Bluetooth to the door. And then from then on, it's going through Wi-Fi to the internet. And you can use the Sledge app to check your lock when you're away from Pleasant Place. But the reason we need to change those cylinders out if your lock goes bad and we have to buy a new one is so that you can use your old key and we don't have to hire a locksmith to change the lock to make it fit with our master key. Any more questions on the locks?
Next item on our agenda, if not, is concerning the tennis courts update. Where I'm at with it at the moment is, and I shared this with the board, was considering going in and taking part of the fence down and cutting the entire interior surface out. Roughly 2-3 foot off of the fence and removing it and pouring it back to concrete, starting all over. Then, paint surfaces in, paint in, of course, tennis, pickleball, possibly basketball, half court, something of that nature. That again, we looked at a lot of options. That surface is not going to be salvageable. It's just you can pick the material up in sheets. And of course, if you put any kind of pressure on it, any kind of wash on it, either light or heavy, it's just lifted. And I think you could literally peel the surface off if you work the back edge of a pressure washer and had somebody with a flat, straight hole, they could probably peel it all right off. But putting another asphalt surface on it, Mary Ann was good enough to get the retired tennis coach from Martin, UTM down here, and looked at it. And he offered up ways to repair it, but what that's going to do is be just a constant battle. You got to maintain these. Yeah, it might make it usable. I mean, people are using it now. I mean, they take pickleballs what everybody's after at the moment, But or I know the kids would like some basketball and stuff around as well. But I don't know. I don't know what that's going to entail. I know it's a lot of money, but we got a designated area over there, and there's nothing being done. It's not really usable like it needs to be. But it's going to take a lot of money to a good bit of money to fix it. I don't know any other way to fix it other than it was suggested that you bulldoze it all and start over, or bulldoze it all and do something different there. But that's I just don't see tearing the fences out and all that stuff if we didn't have to.
I'm just afraid the cost is going to be hard to justify no more than it's used myself.
Right.
But common sense, when I looked at it, told me that you could get an asphalt man to come in here and fill all those cracks just like they fill cracks in a highway. And I think the big question is whether the surface is, the coating is going to work right for that. I think think you could periodically, you know, if you patched all the cracks like the patch of road, you'd probably get 7 or 8 years before you'd have to redo it. But the surface itself is the real problem, as I understand it. I'm not
What was
sure
your idea, Rusty?
how that would hold up.
In order to not have to replace the fencing. Yeah, the fencing itself, that you can come in on one end of it, take down probably one post, roll the fence back, where you can travel in and out and remove all that asphalt from inside.
Remove all the tennis court, everything,
Mhm.
and then pour slab.
Just pour slab back in there and start over. This could,
Because there's not concrete underneath that.
no, it's just
Just asphalt, so it's
Just
just.
asphalt, so, oh,
It's
it's
got
on,
tree
it's,
roots.
We may have to have a field trip up there sometime, you know, to really understand it.
Bring a shovel.
Yeah.
That'll cut down a lot of money.
I don't play anyway, but I'm gonna get into pickleball one day.
The repair people have a general rule, and the one professional guy that I talked to that did a lot of stuff for Paris Parks and Recreation here, and he has so many number of feet of cracks, and then when it exceeds that, he just says, I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
And we're like 2.5 times over what he's talking about.
We got the
And he
footage.
just, he just really, you know, and it's been over a year since I spoke to him, but he really just said, the best thing you can do is start over.
Yeah.
So,
So you'd be actually playing on concrete?
Well, you had to put-
Well, you put the surface.
put the surface back on top, the concrete would just be the base.
The base.
Once you put
Put a
concrete
surface
down,
on
it's gonna be solid for the next
Okay.
Yeah.
50 years, and then you put a surface on top of that.
They can come back in and paint and put all the coatings on, on top of it and then strike it. But it's a good bit of painting process. I mean, that's an art in itself. And getting a good job from what the tennis coach explained is real hard to get a good job because you need a lot of sand mixed in with it. It needs to be done. It's a lot harder work than most people will give you. When they take the job, you don't get what you bargained for a lot of times from what he said if you don't stay right on top of them. But the surfacing is an art in itself, and it has to be maintained way better than we've been maintaining it. It has to be looked after, it has to be kept clean. I've spent about $3,000 taking trees out back behind it already to get rid of I got rid of all the pines out of there and a couple other trees too, just to give it some daylight and he said you got a real problem with sap on this court. And that's when he said, if you just wash this, he said, might be surprised how good it would look. Well, I think if we'd have washed it 5 or 6 years ago, because it's been restored once. For those of you that don't know, we did have it resurfaced once, but it's been many years back. But didn't he say that you have to do, you kind of got to repaint every 5 to 7 years on even a good, normal
I don't
surface,
remember
right?
that, but one thing he did say about ours, if you go out there and look at all the cracks, no matter how deep they are, they're all level, which is a very good thing if you want to consider filling in the cracks.
Right.
We don't have some that are like this and dangerous where you're going to
That's what
trip.
I was looking at.
We have even cracks. So that's a good thing if you want to think about filling them.
He felt like that he used to do this. He would redo the courts at the college in the summer and had his sons helping and all. And it's just unfortunately, he thinks he's too old to do that anymore. But he looked at it, he thought, yeah, I can fix this. He had really good. And he told me to get this book all about tennis courts. I've got a nice big thing that tells you everything about it. You can spend as much as you want to spend on a surface of that. I mean, it's just no end to it. But I think we do need to do something. We need to move somewhere or other.
Have we got any bids on anything?
We've got to get some concrete bids for starters, just to satisfy my idea. I want to get somebody to tell me what one of them would cost.
I'm not sure I've heard of a concrete tennis court.
I think it's one of the primary,
It would just be the base
primary
layer.
surfaces, which you'd be, the rubberized coating on
Because the
top.
top
I
is
guess that,
yeah.
you're getting your shock absorption there.
Kind of like if you pour a walkway, so a lot of times you put a concrete base and then you put papers on top of the concrete.
I think they're usually asphalt underneath.
Better get that book
Well,
out.
I gave the book to Josh a while back in the summer, and I haven't looked at it lately, but I've looked and searched, and it's, basically, is concrete acceptable surface for tennis courts? And the answer is yes, you know.
So no matter what we do, if we do something,
Yeah.
could, Jeff and Justin power wash it every year to keep it, maintain it? Is that something?
We can, yeah, we just would have to, you know, do some annual, cleaning, probably, keep it. One big thing is you gotta keep it pushed off. I mean, when it's got water puddled out there, you know, somebody's gotta go push that off. That doesn't happen, you know, that just doesn't happen. And, you know, it just rains too often and too much in the winter and all that stuff.
Well, that's my concern. If we do fix it, no matter how we do it, are we just setting it up to be declining again without kind of a maintenance plan?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we think ahead of a maintenance plan before we spend money to fix it, and then let it sit there and deteriorate again?
Yeah, I definitely, there needs to be something decided about how to take care of it once we do whatever we do for it.
As far as size, each one of those courts has about 3,000 square feet of area. And just, I think, you pour 3,000 square feet of concrete, you're talking around neighborhood of $20,000 for each court. Isn't that right, Preston?
I'm sure it's pretty good.
So it's gonna be big money if we totally start over.
I just see that the other option I think now would be to strip it completely, we've looked into tools, service one's got something in town that you can strip all that surface down and fix the cracks like we're talking about there, because it is level, and get somebody to come in and paint it. He suggested we get 2 or 3 bids on people that paint courts, you know, or put the surface on courts, and get somebody to come in here and fix it, and then just count on having to work on it again to, maybe not to this extent, but have to work on those cracks every 5 to, he said 5 years would be kind of stretching it to think that it would not break open and give you, you know, some, and it's not going to be a perfect surface, but we're not looking for perfect either, unless we want to redo it, you know.
We're not doing
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah.
Don't be aggressive.
Well, finally, maybe decide what we want to do. Do we have to have a vote to spend the money? Or, because it sounds like you've already done a lot of legwork on it, and whatever you think's best.
Well, we
So
haven't
the
got
other
any-
things, we all have to vote on it.
Yeah.
We don't have any bids or anything,
No.
just ballparking. I think the board needs y'all's opinion in a ballpark way.
Yeah,
You know, are you willing to spend
200,000.
$30,000 or $40,000 on our tennis court? Or are you only willing to spend 10,000?
They only get together once a year, so they really get any on it.
Last year, I know that y'all talked about, that y'all were thinking about doing it for the resort, it's gonna be a lot cheaper to get them both done at the same time, and I might have walked in after this.
Yeah.
Y'all might have said that, but, you know, to get them both done at the same time, as opposed to us having to do it later at some point just for ourselves, it's a lot more cost efficient if you have all the
I think
materials.
we would definitely do them at the same time.
I think you about have to.
Yeah.
It's just,
And I mean,
it's gonna tear up the ground, just tearing
Yeah.
the stuff out of there. We'll have to do some some yard work after we're done as well, so.
but it also save us money if the resort's doing it at the same time.
I just went ahead with the tree work, because I know that's a problem. So I just went and tried to get rid of that issue. And, again, it got to be hot summer, as far as getting out there and working on that court every day, that wasn't what I had anybody that was wanting or willing to do. We had other work that they were working on, but we did get out there and they blew around per se with the pressure washer on it, and it doesn't look too promising as far as salvaging the top coat. But I don't think that's that bad a deal. I think we would be better off if we're going to try to keep the pavement and fix the cracks, starting with fresh anyway, not painting over, some of it's ripped off, and some of it's not, painting over that. I don't know how that is. That's how we did it before, and it lasted about 3 or 4 years before it started rusting over.
I don't know, but I would imagine retaking that coat off and putting it on is gonna be just as much as the concrete, if not more.
It's gonna take some labor, some time. Of course, we've got some people that can do it, but
So back to what I was asking, if we do something and then it rains and it stands, is there a way to shape it so it runs off? I know it won't be level, but make some slope to it so water won't stand on it. Is that possible?
well, you just hope you get a good flat top, and they're supposed to level it when they put the surface on top of the, whatever you got, asphalt or concrete. The people that come in and paint it are supposed to find all those low spots, and they're supposed to level them. It's supposed to be totally flat. And I don't know that, I don't think they pitch them in any way at all. The key was to get all the low spots out of it. This one had so many dips in it that it's just pond after pond out there. And they did that when they resurfaced it. They came in and they supposedly filled and leveled, and but they said it wasn't level, even though it is level. We don't have roots pushing the asphalt up except to the very back there.
But to keep it pure, then almost every rain, you have to have somebody go out there and squeeze it off. And that's just not gonna happen.
That's what ideal situation is, and we don't have that.
Well, you keep that roller out there, Sam, when you go out there, you're supposed to roll it off. I used to play tennis, I know about them rollers.
Well, it'll hold up pretty well, I think, if we can keep it clean. It sounded to me like that was a whole lot of it was
Well,
Hey, could you back when we get pickleball lines put down too?
well, I think
They
they
are.
are.
I'm sorry, I don't mean like, I don't mean to repeat
But
things.
that would be, pickleball, the question was, do we put tennis back on both? We about got to put everything on both courts. We have homeowners that will not get on Buchanan Resort Court, and they don't want Buchanan Resort people on it.
I don't even know.
We have feelings, well, it's got a sign on it. It's just the one by the dumpsters is ours. If you look at the property maps, you can, it's deeded off there too.
so I'm just thinking through this maintenance issue. We have the condos power washed every year. Would once a year, if we just include that, have them power wash that when they do the buildings, would that be enough?
I'm thinking that we ought to be able to handle cleaning.
With Jeff?
I would think with Jeff, and I have Ricky, and, another guy, or usually another guy or two.
Because I just
I
think
think
it's
we
crazy.
could, but if we could certainly get them to price it. The big thing is that they don't damage it. You gotta be, you can tear it up quicker if you don't.
Use the wrong
Use the
nozzle.
wrong tip or what have you. But they're a soft wash is what they ask for. It's called, I think. But yeah, it'd be worth getting a price. I'm surprised we haven't had a price increase on this washing that we're getting every year now. We've been paying the same since you brought it up, that they haven't raised it on us.
When are we doing that?
That'll be starting real soon. It's usually about this time of year. I'm surprised they hadn't already been here.
Well, I mean, should we just say designate an amount that we're willing to spend or can spend and then let you all decide, or how do we go forward here?
I mean, I'd rather have some specific bids myself. More than one.
I think all we're asking for today is, let's discuss it and give us your thinking
Give us
about.
your idea.
Do we need to try to do something with them, get rid of them? I mean, they're not attractive the way they are now, obviously, and they're really not
I just
functional.
got one question, who plays tennis?
No, we don't have probably anyone that would use them for anything more than pickleball. And that's what
I
they
agree.
really
I
want.
think it'd be used more for
It's not
pickleball.
like this.
I don't think you lose it now.
Well,
I
it's
couldn't
a good place, our grant is going in there, not pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to have a good time.
Yeah.
I
It's becoming and I think we've got a group of real diverse group here. There's young families here, and there's grandmas and granddads and great granddads here, and you got such a diverse group of people. I think that, I know a number of people in the community that play, that do the pickleball thing, but you know, maybe baddish or what have you. But we've been asked repeatedly about having, you know, like half-court basketball, you know, something of that nature.
That would be my thinking, was, you know, have something like
Yeah.
what you just said, you
But
know,
if we-
basketball and all that with kids.
Multi-service.
If we redid it, we would just stripe it for multiple uses. And the pickleball would be something that would, if you gotta keep tennis, you gotta take the pickleball and turn it perpendicular to the tennis net. You can set up one on either side, and you set up a temporary pickleball net, and you have to play left to right rather than north to south, you know, so. But it can be striped accordingly to fit everything.
So we need a motion in here that says we need to get some bids and or a maximum of what we can spend, you know, whatever. But we need something to go ahead and do that. We've discussed it. We know we can do anything with it that we choose to do after the fact, but we know we're gonna make it for multiple purposes. But
So are you making a motion to spend this?
I'll make whatever motion y'all need to make. We're doing something else. I think we can.
How will we actually see the money? Say if we spend 200,000, do we see that on our next HOA bill, or just send it, is it a different? How do we actually see that?
No, well, when we get to the budget, we discuss it. Right now, we've got 63 or 4,000 in reserve, and we've got 18,000 budgeted, at least that's what the board has suggested, for repairs. So the problem is if we pull all of that out of our reserve is gonna be awful low. And, that's our concern. We don't want to assess, if we can avoid assessments, we don't want assessments.
Right.
And so that's the reason we need y'all, the feeling of everybody, because it involves a lot of money.
I think, Ben, if we had a bunch of people here that play tennis, I rarely see people over there playing. Now, if you put a pickleball court, you may get more participation. I expect you would. It's a hot thing right now. Because we don't have a lot of people playing, we don't have any pros or semi-pros here, the surface where it's cracked is level. I would say it would be good enough to fix the cracks, repaint and go.
Could we motion to get, both bids just for basic repair, so that we could use it for the kids to play basketball or ride their bikes and make sure they're not skinning their knees or tripping, and just basic, and then also get the repair costs to get it as a tennis court again, and have a meeting once we get those bids.
And then see
call a
where
meeting.
that price point is, to where it's a pro and con.
So the way that I think that we might could bust that out is basically the painting. And, you know, the surface itself is all one company can handle that. And it's gonna be somebody else that has to fix the cracks.
Yes.
Or replace concrete with concrete or re-asphalt, anything you gotta do. So if we could come up with some painting companies that would just say, hey, we'll put, what did he tell us, 2 coats of black and 1 coat of, I mean, the color, yeah, there's 2 or 3 companies, you know, you gotta, the people that, like him that knew, you know, he could tell us exactly what to ask for, and we could probably get pricing from hopefully more than one person that would come in to a prepared surface and finish it. Then the other side of it is, you know, just gonna be man hours on most of this other stuff. I don't know how to estimate or repair the crack situation, because I don't know who's gonna get to do it besides ourselves. You know, we're gonna have to do it from within what manpower we've got.
If we weren't gonna use it for a tennis court, if we were gonna use it for basketball, bike riding, whatever,
Extra parking for boat trailers.
you don't need the rubberized surface. I don't know what you need for pickleball.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just plain
Well, just-
concrete thing or.
Just same as tennis
Same
court.
as tennis.
Same as- yeah.
They usually use the same court for both of them.
But there's a very nice new one over at the state park. If you'd like to go look at a brand new surface, it's very lovely. But I don't know for our use if it's worth spending that money.
And there's new ones at the park too, in Paris.
Yeah.
A bunch of people.
Bill?
To capitalize, or to add on to what Ann Kate was saying, and I don't have a lot to say here, I'm pretty new, but especially on the holidays, that whole area is just full of cars and trailers in the grass, which is under trees, so that, necessarily grow a lot. If we do decide, I think that should be something on the table as far as extra.
Just extra parking. I know that sounds awful to say that, but I mean, if it's gonna cost us a portion and we have that space there.
Right.
Take down the fence and save the money.
You
I mean,
could grab it instead of concrete.
well, it's already concreted. It's not gonna be a bad thing for cars to park on. I mean, instead of.
One of those belongs to the resort too, so that's.
Oh,
Well, I'm just talking about the one,
Yeah.
but if we don't wanna take on that cost, the problem is it looks like a tennis court. So if it looks like a tennis court, it's an attractive nuisance. And when you have an attractive nuisance, if somebody sprains their knee or hurts themselves, you have a lawsuit, just because it looks like a tennis court. If we don't wanna put in the money, make it not look like a tennis court.
That's, we're looking for ideas. I mean, the only other idea I think I've heard of for that over there was one time someone said, be a good dog park. Kinda, but to turn it in, because that's what towns are doing with their own tennis courts that cost too much to fix. They're doing things, just looking at it from a different perspective, but,
I just feel like with all prices pretty much going up on everything, I would rather not put money into it no more than it's used.
Well, I think we need to do something to it if we
I think it would
repair
be used more if something were done to it, but that's
I
just
know,
my opinion.
I have a 14-year-old that would play basketball down there all the time.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
basketball
it's just
there.
not.
And
So we can still not do it. We just need to, we need to know more, I think, an accurate cost of it. And then if we
Yeah.
have to get together with all the homeowners and say, okay, here's what we're looking at.
we can have
And
another
do
call
another
meeting.
little ballot or something, whatever. And if everybody says, no, we don't want to put the money into it. But I think we're hashing it out today about stuff that we don't even know the cost. We have an idea, and I understand if we weren't going to use it, but I also think if it's resurfaced.
It's
it doesn't have to be
resurfaced, I think
perfect.
it would be used a
We-
lot.
But it could be pickleball, basketball, and whatever, and
Basketball.
it doesn't have to be perfect, it could be just concrete. If you don't want to play on concrete, you can go to the state park and tease it, play on a nice surface, we're tax money paid for it. I mean,
I agree.
Motion that we,
We're okay for that.
I think just, let's not make a motion.
or research and then
bids,
get back together.
And then discuss it later before the money's spent on anything.
we did this one time years ago. The biggest thing that's ever come up is putting a gate, a security gate in here where you had to go through a gated area right here to get in. And we researched, got all the pricing together and found out what it cost. And we just let everybody vote on it. We just took over, everybody had each unit had a vote.
Could you send an email to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Email,
But if we
respond back.
If we
by
could
certain
come up
date.
with something more than it might cost this or it might cost that, but that's about.
Okay, so
Have-
Deb's
have the
made a
different
motion
options.
to-
I say get bids on different options that are available for the
And
students.
then revisit it in the near future.
And then don't do anything money wise until the homeowners as a whole have a say in whether we do it or not. I hope y'all worded that differently than what I just said.
I think given that we don't really know where we're headed, that maybe that's enough.
The fence that's broken over there now, does that need to be fixed to keep it from tearing up until we decide to do something?
To get a new post put in, new crossbar, we need to get something put back in. Finally, the local fence company here finally fixed the cemetery fence or cemetery fence back about a month ago, after 2.5 years. So I was kind of a little hesitant to call them, but I think they're trying hard, so I can.
I just thought the weight on it, the
Yeah.
more it comes there, might do some more damage.
It's just needs to be put back up. It just looks broken, you know. It just needs to be, but it bent, they're gonna have to install, they're gonna have to use a couple of pieces of material.
Was that from tearing the trees down that happened?
We had a tree that fell storm back in the winter. There was a tree that laid on it and then it just broke it over, but.
Did we ever get a second on that motion?
Yes,
Oh.
Annie Kay.
And when we're asking for the alternates, get a good base bid is wonderful, and then the alternates. And then if you ask for value engineering options, a lot of these estimators will give you their opinion. You put that over to the side and consider it, but at least ask for the 2 or 3 different options of how you want to, look at the bid and tell them, these are the 3 things we want, and then you can suggest things. And a lot of times those value engineering options are wonderful.
We have other concrete things. The reason that other things involving concrete work that were on our list too, which is this building gazebo has got to have sidewalk repair. I believe our stance at this point on it is to go in and tear out what is unlevel, pour back, cut out what roots we can, and pour back into it in its unlevel state. Unless someone's highly opposed to that, we can even widen. That's the one gazebo that all the golf carts have to go right by the shrubs. So maybe we pull that out or make it a little wider right around there. We need to do something to help that tight turnaround shrubbery. But just pour fresh concrete back in and get that torn out.
Because y'all may have not noticed, but if you look close at that gazebo, it's tilted.
I thought you were gonna,
The question is, whether to leave it tilted or spend a lot of money to level it back.
I thought you were gonna raise it a foot or two.
Well, that's a possibility, but the least expensive thing to do is leave it alone and just fix the sidewalks.
Until it becomes an issue, and it's
And
really
then we can
not.
always level it later. Because in order to level it, we're gonna have to take the shrubs out. You're gonna have to dig down around the edge and try to jack it up and then get concrete up under there, it's just a lot.
If you're drinking
For
water,
what you've gotta
it
do.
might be even.
I didn't know
What they signed up, Greg on.
That's where we cook, I mean, that's our gazebo, that's where we cook all the time, and I couldn't even told you until they brought it up that it was leaning. To me, it was just, of course, I was probably.
The hillside, it's the hill.
Here's a carrot.
Now,
We don't care, do we?
I think once they tear that out, if they get the root out from under the sidewalk part, I think the sidewalk will survive a long, long time. What probably is gonna change more quickly is the tilt on the gazebo itself right up at the top, but it's taken, years and years to get to where it is, so it's, hopefully that wouldn't.
I'll start taking measurements. See how much is moving in a year.
Right.
Now, when you cut the roots at the sidewalk, that's pretty close to that tree. Is it gonna kill the tree?
In the experience I've had with pine trees, I think if you cut all the way around them, I don't think it'll kill them.
That's probably easy to get rid of the tree.
I worry too, but I've been in, what's going under that wall won't hurt the integrity of the tree.
It appears to be just one root about this big around. If we cut it off, it should quit growing. And if it quits growing, it's not gonna raise it up any further than it is right now. That's our theory.
It won't raise the sidewalk, but the tree, will eventually die. And that tree also causes a lot of problems with all the pine needles we have right there. And it's causing problems on the slab for the gazebo.
Yeah, removing the trees is another thing that has been discussed,
That's very expensive, too.
This is personal opinion, but it's from experience. I've cut basically on 3 sides of pine trees that large before and 4 and 5 foot deep around them, and it never phased them. ever, and it hasn't, but I didn't like it, I was worried about it, because it was in, it was in the trailer park area up here, and concerned, what was gonna happen, and so I kept my eye on it. We just, unfortunately, a lot of the plumbing was put in for the trees, and grows right through it, so we've had to dig in a number of times, and I've cut a number of trees down too, but usually don't kill them from digging, so.
Well, if we do that, would it be possible to make it even a foot or a half foot wider as you go around there?
If we could
For
probably
golf carts?
either flare that or pull it away from the bed further or something, it needs to
Yeah,
help,
a little
because
bit
we're
wider.
constantly running back tires and catching that.
Yeah.
When you go around there with the golf carts. I wish the wall was wider all the way down. It may look odd if we flare it, but I think we ought to do something to improve it.
Yeah, I think what we're talking about is, there's two sidewalks that come up to the gazebo, replace both of them, and a section, whatever section we need of the main sidewalk, all in one concrete pour there. And just take that, where the root is going underneath, we cut that root off back as close as we can to the trunk of the tree, kill that root, we're hoping that it won't keep raising it up any more than it is right now. And if in the future the tilt gets too bad, we can always jack up the low end at that time.
So we have money in the budget allocated to do that project?
Well,
Concrete.
yeah, well, it's lumped in with,
We have some repair money in there that actually, that is available for that,
Well, I vote we'll go ahead, I make the motion that we go ahead with that, as we described.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is that. Is there anything specifically how you want to handle the building committee, building representative committee report? Is there anything specific someone would like to discuss that was on that list?
Hey Patty, you might want to check with Eddie to see if he's got anything. You got him muted there?
No.
Oh,
before we go any further, let me just tell people, we got four
yeah,
people.
right.
We've got 4 people watching us online. If any of y'all that are online want to chat with us, you just type in the little chat box there on the right side and give us, if you have any questions.
Eddie, do you need to add anything to the concrete situation?
Go once, go.
Here's one.
He's playing pickleball.
Hey, Eddie,
You got 3 more seconds.
did you want to add anything to our discussion about the concrete or anything like that?
No, I ain't really got anything.
Okay, just checking in.
Well, in our unit, it was the question about attendance, to address that.
If there's anything at all on the building representative committee's report, anyone would like to discuss?
Everybody get a copy of that?
What we just
Email.
voted on was just repairing the concrete.
We're just agreeing that we're gonna just fix that sidewalk in front of your gazebo there. That we're gonna do it without altering the pad and the roof structure.
From the building representatives meeting, there were some other places around where some sidewalks have done this, getting to a point enough that they might start to get dangerous. And someone had mentioned, I don't really know what it is, floating, which I assume is a little angle. And I didn't know if there were places we might need to do that, and we talked about if there are dead bushes around, are we just leaving them, are we replacing them? I remember those 2 things.
I don't want to hold, I can respond.
Good.
There are some broken places on down that same sidewalk we're talking about here. We would look to get them to cut that out and replace those pieces.
I see the high outside of B, they painted some yellow paint. And I mean, if it's enough where you need paint, you might need to fix it.
That area right there is where the old used to be a birch tree in the parking area up there. The roots pushed up that entire spot. We're also looking at parking over at H Field, and it's been, brought up numerous times over the years because water's ponding over there on the parking areas over on that side. So we've got quite a bit of concrete work that needs to be done, but to level that, sometimes you can lift it with foam. We've done that like we did in front of your unit. That doesn't seem to be a permanent fix. It's cheaper than pouring concrete, but it does continue to shift a little bit, it seems.
But someone tripping could get very expensive.
Yeah, well, the problem there is we couldn't get it totally level. Once he put so much pressure on there, it lifted it up, it got it up so far, and then it started pushing all those riprap rocks out. It wouldn't come up any further. It pumped a huge amount of foam underneath there, and the foam started moving the rock instead of lifting. So we had to leave it a little bit recessed just because of that. Maybe.
Well, I'm talking more the sidewalks and people.
Oh, the sidewalk. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big disruption at B building right by that staircase.
Oh, that's
right
right.
there.
Yeah.
And we should look at that. You're right. As far as the shrubbery, the general consensus from everything we could find this year was to leave it alone and see what happens.
For spring.
And I went as far as taking advice on some of our stuff that I shouldn't have taken from people that supposedly knew what they were talking about, said, "Oh, it's dead, it's not coming back." Well, they were in most cases, 85% of the shrubbery is actually still living. I know we got a lot of dead stuff, right out here, and maybe it doesn't look good, but some of it is going to wind up and be salvaged. It wasn't. We didn't feel like it was a good year to go ahead and just replace stuff right up front. For one thing, the cost was going to be very high. I think it'll be, after we get through the winter and see what comes out on the other side, we'll be needing to put some shrubs in for sure.
It's supposed to be really cold again, according to the farmer's almanac. It was right last year, so we might want to wait and just do bulk damage.
We'll definitely would want to do it in the early part of next year, but there's going to have to be some stuff replaced. And it's time, if it's not salvageable at this point, sometime before spring, it need to be pulled up and then just look, putting stuff back.
Because I was a building rep, one thing, and I think you just want to explain again about the gate that gate is through the resort, right, down to the docks.
Yeah,
So therefore, it's just gonna stay open now, right?
Well,
Wait, just for clarification at the meeting to talk.
I've had a number of people talk about the fact they want that gate on there, which to me, in all the years it's been there, it's been nothing but a nuisance. Honestly, if I went on that dock, I can get on there, without the gate.
Right.
But I do understand it. Always, when I hear it, it's always the people from the cabins coming, and I get it. So I guess my answer to you is that I will fix the gate, get it back in operation. There's nothing more than, we've got to try to get the closure working better on it, get it lined up a little bit better. There's nothing wrong with the lock. It's just hanging. And, if it slams, somebody gets mad because they're stuck back there, next thing you know, they put their foot into it and it busts welds. And it's just, honestly, I wish the gate weren't there, but
Yeah,
I will.
well, and I think that when we had our committee meeting, that's what everybody discussed, it's kind of like,
Kind of is, yeah.
and that is since it is part of the resort, or, it's not necessarily, a lot of people didn't realize that until,
Yeah, it's not
or
really.
the new members don't know that.
Yeah, it's not, the dock's there for, for y'all's purposes, and it's always had a gate, and yeah, I need to fix the gate. But it's really nothing to do with the association's money or anything at all. It's something that I need.
Does it have to be I mean, the gate basically, as you said, is a deterrent.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wants on, so do we have to have a lock? Why can't we just have something that just comes down and the gate's closed?
Yeah.
And it's got a sign on there.
Well,
Just a sign.
Yeah.
A sign that says private boat dock.
Like they have.
I mean, we can't keep people out of this pool, but it's, I guess it's okay, but, you know, something simple like
yeah.
we got to get in the pool instead of, because you're right, I mean, you know, you put a code in there, and I mean, at one time, all you had to do is hit 6, and it opened, but then that thing slams and.
That door is slammed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
You're not in that.
So, I mean, you know,
It's a
by
piece of-
the slamming, if it gets too complicated,
Yeah.
just put, I mean, it's just a deterrent anyway, just put something.
Just a latch, a regular latch.
Yeah, and it was, you know,
With
like
the no
cabin
trespassing
walk up
sign and.
And a sign that says, yeah, private dock.
Yeah, private
there. Yeah,
property.
once in there, he's gonna get in there anyway.
Either that or a hydraulic closure.
Yeah.
I think that's what you were saying.
Something that'll swing it. Yeah.
By the way,
something-
Josh told me to find something, and I sent something to you guys, do it, but hydraulic
Just
closures.
just a small
Or take a lock too.
Yeah, it was, it's primitive to say the least, the way it was configured. And it worked, it's amazing how long it worked pretty good there without, and then when it started getting trouble, it's every time you looked up. Anything else from the committee report? Anybody else?
Rusty, I got, and it's not a showstopper, but in my unit, we noticed one day we had water coming where you open that closet door. And then I looked up, and of course I had a little ground up there, and I kilted it and painted it, and it was fine for a while, and then it started coming back with Justin and Jeff got up there. And in that valley, Jeff had Justin down there with a hose, and he was up in the attic, and in that valley, I've got a small drip. And it doesn't happen every time. I don't know if it has to be a certain volume of rain, if it has to come from the, long story short, it's coming in, running down a truss, and then dripping. And Jeff and Justin got up there and put a great big rubber plastic tote, like you'd have in your attic to store stuff for water to drip in. Which is fine, it's not coming in now. But I'm wondering over time, if that's not fixed, what that's gonna do to the truss and everything else, because it's gonna get.
But they can see where it's leaking. I mean,
Oh,
I know
yeah,
this
yeah.
has been, I've talked to them more than 5 times about this probably, but I thought you kind of had it, I noticed on the report that it was mentioned.
Yeah.
But I thought they had.
No, I mean,
Just a bucket up there.
It's not coming in the condo, but if we move that plastic bucket.
Right.
And then, of course, I guess it evaporates.
That's
And
what I
not that
said.
they don't have
Never
to change
frozen.
it, but I just worry about what it's gonna do.
Or
over time.
if it's a
Water
roof
running
thing,
down the
like,
truss.
is that under warranty for the roof? I mean, it may just be simple, just a certain spot, right?
We just,
Patch, you
something's gotta be, you're gonna have to take some shingles off or something right up in there and put, find patch them underneath, put them back.
Yeah, I don't think-
If you got it narrowed
Nothing
down,
major.
if it's narrowed down to where you can catch it in the attic, you ought to be able to fix it. Yeah.
Well, that's what kind of what we thought.
Yeah. But I know there was some question at times about where it was actually coming.
Yeah, well, like I say,
You know.
Jeff got up in the attic and Justin was down there with the hose, and Jeff saw where it was coming from.
Right.
But, he said, you'd have to get somebody here and point out where it's at. He said something about putting a nail through there so they can see where it was, so, I don't know. Like I say, it's not bothering us now, but over time, it's gonna do something with that truss.
I'll get back with Jeff about that.
Rusty.
When the storms came through and blew off parts of the roof, we had about 6 shingles missing. But we know that we're one of the older roofs, because we had been told several years ago that eventually ours would be replaced and it's gonna be in one of the units. We don't have any leaks. I've been up and looked and checked since the damage, but I just didn't know are we kind of waiting and thinking that that one's gonna be replaced, or was it not enough damage?
Well, they were supposed to replace the tabs on your roof when they roofed the clubhouse and
They might have just
and
used a
e-built it,
different
and
color,
they,
and that could be why.
so I don't know if, again,
And
and that's,
Mass,
is that in?
it's
Yeah.
into,
Yes.
in one and
Yeah, it's in,
into,
okay.
yeah.
I just was wanting to get the right building.
But they might have
letter on
done
it.
it, but the lots can be such different colors, I couldn't tell if it was still missing a shingle, or if it was a new shingle,
Well,
and I just wanted to make sure.
I'm suspect that
Yes,
they might not have gotten up there and done that. They got on D building and did some work there. And, but, again, when we're talking roofs, we may have to get, Hail, since we're talking about the roofs, Hail, is that right? Hail Construction? Okay. Out of Union City, I believe, was the one that did the roofing on this, the storm damage that we had. And, I think we can get them to come out and get it on there. Somebody needs to get on top of that roof, I believe. If we will look at it, though, I believe Dale said there's tabs, he knows tabs missing there.
Did we incur much cost on that, or was it mostly covered by insurance?
Mostly insurance, we're,
Is that from the March storm?
yeah,
Because it was,
that straight line wind we had lasted hours and hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were without electricity in town for about 3 hours.
yeah,
No, 3 days.
3 days.
yeah. Yeah, we kind of had back-to-back ones pretty close together, and the second one was the one that really did the number on everything. Everything else seemed to weather it pretty good, though. But this building and that building, both of them replaced by insurance twice. These two are the ones that seem to get the worst wind damage. Other than maybe a building gets
It's
a
all
lot.
about the height.
Yeah,
Angle of the roof,
Yeah.
my parents' whole roof came off.
yeah, it just happens to be right where.
Tallest house in the neighborhood, they said never again.
Anything further before we start with the budget discussion?
Just had a chat from Donna Hastings at D3, wanted us to discuss the sidewalk in front of D3. It's been cracked, it's similar to the one over in B building.
Right.
So if you fix one, we can get somebody to do both of them.
We had, April had mentioned that in the budget meeting too, when we were planning, so we were aware of that one too.
One of the other things that was talked about in the building representative meeting was a question about being able to pay our maintenance fees online. And now that you can set it up through our website, but it's something that we'd have to get our CPA to do because it'd be a third party. She'd have to set up a third party software on our website, so.
Talked about that.
We've talked about
There
this
was
before,
complete-
but we never can seem to catch her when she's here at the resort to look into that. So the next chance that she is comes here from Clarksville, we might want to get her to take a look at it and see what's involved in doing that. I know it'd be convenient for everybody if we could get that added.
If we could do that, that would be something that I would suggest and vote that we go to exclusively and quit receiving checks.
One word.
And absolutely quit receiving cash. I actually get cash. I take a picture of it. But sometimes, you know, as y'all well know, your check may be, I only make about 3 or 4 deposits a quarter. And so I may hold it a while. I've got 3 or 4 in my bag over here right now. But anyway, I think it'd be wonderful if you just could go in and do a one-time payment. Just go in and punch in your bank information and just send the money direct in. I've discussed it ever since we moved our accounting or all bookkeeping basically at Thurman Campbell. And, I'll get after Michael Wallace, who is an owner. If you don't know Michael, he is the managing partner of the firm that handles it. So maybe if I could get him a little more interested in looking into that, I would like it. Good.
Make it easier for you.
It would.
Well, since Michael is an owner here, he can use his email address and password to get on our website. You know, it's, because you've got to have access to the website to set it up on there. But since he's an owner, that's handy because he's already, on the website. I don't know.
It would be ideal, either I'm looking at suggesting we do this, electronically, or all checks go to Thurman Campbell Group in Clarksville, Tennessee. That's my next option to get it.
Is that what
to-
you want us to do now? Send it to
Well,
them instead of
we're not
office?
ready, no, we're not ready yet, we're not, I appreciate that, and it's not a bit, but that would probably make your checks clear quicker, everything would happen faster, rather than you trying to reconcile and saying, well, dang, Rusty, you can make a deposit.
That was me calling.
But
You get my check.
the way the mail is, we don't get them sometimes too, there's been a number of times we haven't gotten them.
Well, you got another one at the office, I just left.
Yeah. But we do want to pursue that further, I think.
Do any of y'all have any other questions while we're here together on the website? There seems to be a lot of problems that people have, using the website to reserve the clubhouse and that kind of thing. That was our intent. But are all of you able to even find it online? If we had a projector here, I could give you a tutorial, but my laptop screen is not big enough to do it. Basically, I think the biggest problem that I've run into, that people have called me on, is they're trying to do it from their phone. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You have to either use a laptop, or even with an iPad, you have to turn it sideways to landscape mode, or it won't work. So it's either you either use a laptop, because the monthly calendar doesn't show up if it's in portrait. You turn your iPad sideways, and there's the monthly calendar. And all you gotta do is click on the day you want it, type in, what unit you're in, and click whether or not you want to clean up yourself, and click OK, and you got it reserved. And you'll know if somebody else already has it reserved, because they would already show up on that day. And so if you see somebody else click that day, sorry, they already got it ahead of you. But that's the idea of it. But I think everybody's trying to do it from their cell phone, and it don't work. So they call me, which is no big deal. But I don't mind, but it'd be better for everybody if y'all knew how to just go ahead and do it yourself. Any other?
I'll pass that on to Ben. I didn't realize they couldn't use your phone.
Well, I have put in our email before, and it probably gets missed. It's along with some other stuff. Like if you really look at reserve the clubhouse, there's a sentence in there that says you can't use the phone. But I understand people, read it fast and not notice that. So, and you forget, if you read it like me, you read it today and 5 minutes later you forgot. So,
And one of the reasons we use that website is because it costs us
$97 a year.
$97 for a whole year. So we could probably get a more sophisticated one, but we have to pay a lot. And no one would use it. It just makes sense to stay with that.
We're trying to keep our expenses down, and that one is actually set up for nothing but HOAs. Now, we can get our own domain name but that costs extra too.
Yeah.
And,
That's why we have that, but it's not really
but,
probably the
but,
best, it works.
the trick is, you know, to get on there the first time, you gotta type in this long link to get on there. Go, ppca.gogladly.com. You get on there, then what you need to do is save it to your favorites. And then, if you wanna put it in the taskbar, you can, like any of your favorites, you can drag them to the taskbar. And then it's right there at the bottom of your screen all the time. If you want to get on the website, click on it. And when you save it to your taskbar, it puts a big red G. That's for the company, Gladly. And there'll be a big red G there. And all you do is click on the red G and you're in our website. And if any of you want me to show you how to do it after our meeting date, I'll be glad to.
Our current reserve account balance as of today, $66,190.69. That is third quarter transfer has been made. The reserve transfer has been made for third quarter. Basically, I don't recall what the balance was at this time last year, but we had a number of new members, of course, and we've added money that way, and we're able to make our transfers like we should each quarter. So we'll have one more of those, another $2,030 will go in before the end of the year. And, you know.
On that topic, you know, a year ago, you couldn't earn anything on interest. Are we earning any interest on it?
We're getting a little bit, not much. The
You
banks
probably
are,
get 3 or 4 or 5%.
yeah, I think it's
Another
probably,
$2,000 a year.
yeah, worth a phone call to the bank and ask them.
A lot of them are paying, I know it's a deal at 4 or 5% now.
That's what I've heard.
Just for
That a lot of the small banks are losing because the bigger banks are more aggressive and getting more interest, and a lot of the small town banks are hurting.
I think if you talk to them, they'll come around and pay you something on it. That could be a couple $1,000 a year.
Yeah, well, it's $20-something or so a month.
But I think you can get 4 or 5%.
You know, we can get it on up there and turn it into a little, you know.
I think they come around if you just get that arm back there a little bit. Help them out. I mean, it could be a couple $1,000 on 60 there. But we're not getting it. It's enough balance to make it worthwhile.
Right.
I think we've added about $20,000 since last year. I thought I had that written down.
It was 36, it was around 36.
At this time last year.
Yeah.
We have to take bins on a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because we would not have probably had that $1,000 tag into reserve had he not brought it to our attention. That's done in a lot of other places. And it's made a huge difference. Thank you.
Yes, I mean, anytime somebody buys a unit in here, now they have to pay $1,000 fee as resident. And I was, resident, sorry. But that is their buy-in to belong to the HOA.
Because all of us have paid him to do that all these years, so.
The ones that bought years ago didn't have to pay that. But we've discovered now that we're doing that it really has helped build our reserves up. Because we have 3 or 4 units sell every year. And, you know, dealing with the budgets that we have, that's really helped.
Well, with 60,000 in there, so everybody's got about 1,100 in it.
Well, there's been 4 sold this year, so that's $4,000.
If you divide 60 by 52 units, everybody's got 1,100 invested already. $1,000 now.
There's been 6 sold this year.
6 this year. We left a couple names off. Judy Long from Dyersburg is a new owner that we didn't recognize, and I don't know her husband's name. And then also, our current owner bought another unit in The building right
Look
here,
at
Orlea over,
Oh.
purchased, unit from
Morgan, Miss Morgan,
Miss Morgan, that's right, Miss Morgan's unit.
Freshett.
And,
I can't remember.
as if you add a unit, we did discuss, if, let's just say, Dan, you sold your unit, bought another one.
We don't charge them.
If you sell your unit within 6 month time frame, we decided that you would be, if you were just moving units, you would be excluded from that $1,000 fee. But if you're adding a unit, you have to pay that. Right. And you know, there's been 7, now that we say that, Connie and David King bought the Stan's unit here too. So there's gonna be $7,000 injected into the budget due to that this year.
We're in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot the bonds.
The property is hot, to say the least. If it's, I don't know how much you know are aware of, what's going on with real estate around here, but we're pretty hot money around here. So. What, can you state what the fees, this budget was based on a fee increase of 3 bedrooms, $1,000?
We were going up $25 on the 3-bedroom units and $20 on the 2-bedroom. So that would make a 3-bedroom $1,090 every quarter, and a 2-bedroom $850 every quarter.
Right, go ahead. Well, basically, we've operated pretty well this year, but we've got some repair money that needs to get spent, because we've got obvious repairs that needs to be done. But, we've had also insurance increases. This increase in maintenance fees did not even offset the increase in the insurance, coverage that we're experiencing. And anytime, of course, you get a claim, it seems like that follows up with a little bit of increase on your premiums. And also, from what I understand, condos in general are getting kicked around all over the country. The experience ratings and things that they're base their coverage on. I know that Eddie has said in Florida, he has a condo down there that there's just a lot of places that condo insurance is going up. It's really elevating. So we did have to bring some more money in to try to offset that and try to, to spend as good as we can for the coming year. But we could just take open discussion on anything y'all would like to talk about how your money's spent. If that would be the easiest thing, it seems to me.
Will that increase coverage?
The coverage goes up a little bit every year.
But I mean, for next year, will that be enough to cut coverage?
We feel like that it would.
We put in 30,000 for a swimming pool.
If it covers it, I could.
Well, this suggested, maintenance fee increase adds about $5,000 to our money, which is about equal to what our premium's going up on insurance.
That's
So
basically
that's
what.
basically the reason we felt like we had to.
But will it cover the other, the total budget, will we still be in balance?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we think it'll work out.
I would make a motion to do that.
I guess there's.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess we should gotta recognize Dan's motion, make a motion
That we increase.
Increase the HOS.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. I guess we can go ahead and vote on this. All in favor? Any opposed? Phil?
I normally don't do this, but I just want to throw this out for the year. I know that y'all do as an association have insurances. If anybody that you know has questions about their personal insurance, do not hesitate to put my number out.
Thank you.
Because mine, when I did mine about a year and a half ago, I was pleasantly surprised.
Right. Getting some just revisiting the policy and going,
Yeah, I mean,
reviewing it.
just, yeah, because it's real easy for me to plug in. I'm used to doing mine and the other condos around the community.
Well, I do know that my insurance agent that I have in Dyersburg called me this weekend and said, we haven't revisited, haven't revisited your policy in the last 5 years. We really need to look at it and see what we need to do. So
That's a
if we
good
have
practice. A lot of agents don't do, but it's a great practice that we do.
So maybe if you
But
have
even
it,
yearly, honestly, because so much changes.
that's true.
With inflation, you might want to make sure that you're adequately insured,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, for your
It's
part.
a good rule of thumb for all of us, I guess.
You know, the HOA covers the exterior, but from the sheet rock in, that's yours.
It's not fun learning the hard way. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
Within the budget, there's we look at Jeff and Justin's salary each year, and we need to have a motion brought. We'll tell you what we did. We voted for beginning January 1. We built in $1 an hour raise for Justin. And then April 1, Jeff's weekly pay would increase $25. That's been kind of our standard thing we do each year, but we would need to have a motion to approve that.
Any case I've been blown away by their graciousness to help.
Agree. We're very, very fortunate to have them.
Yeah.
They appreciate y'all, and I think they you know, you take good care of them. I know they, you know, I know they care a lot about what they do here.
I just got a quick question, Melinda. Do they work every day? I mean, you sitting here, you know, like Sunday morning, they'll be out here washing down the pool, and I was just going, what hours these guys?
They come
I
up.
don't know all that well yet.
Right, yes, sir. To answer your question, they do a little bit of something every day. And between the two of them, you know, Jeff he doesn't like to send us, unless there's some reason that he can't be here, he likes to be here every day too. But one of them wouldn't have to come, you know, a day or two a week if necessary, but they do visit the pool when the pool's open. Now, once that pool shuts down, it's a little different story. You know, they'll take a total day away. You know, if anything, of course, about half the time they probably get a call or something, you know, when they're gone. But Justin will put in 40-ish hours a week all year up until this time of year. Then they'll cut, you know, in the winter months, he may not get 15 or 20 hours, even depending on how much available weather allows him to work.
Jeff is on salary, so no matter how many hours he works, he gets the same pay. Justin is hourly, and we've looked at this before. He seems to average for the whole 12 months. For 12 months, he averages about 32 hours a week. Because in the summer, he'll work sometimes more than 40 hours, but in the winter, he pretty much shut down. There's nothing for him to do. So that's kind of the way we budgeted it, is figuring his hourly rate 32 hours a week.
That's usually pretty good.
Okay, we need to vote on the pay raises for Jeff and Justin. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Those are the two big things that we have to vote on this budget. The rest of it, we just need to answer any questions you got, or feel any concerns, it seems like concrete's a big deal, and it needs to be, you know, we know that.
Any questions about the budget? Any line items? Okay.
You have another copy. My email got messed up. I didn't get it.
We can print them off. in the office here. Anybody else need a copy of it? He probably didn't get one, did you, Ramsey? Of the budget? Can you print one from there?
No, I'm on that, I'm not hooked in.
You said,
That's all. Yeah, just go on the computer in there, go to, tile manager and Pleasant Place 2023, and you should see the budget. Oh, we use the last four digits of your phone.
I'm going to talk about the meeting days for next year, because I think we,
Mandy's beating George.
Seven.
There's 6 days left in the first quarter.
Jordan either shows up.
Yeah.
Or it takes a while to get started.
They look good, man. The last week they looked good. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They couldn't get anything right because Jordan played there.
This is our game. We'll play 11 today.
Let's go back.
a
Yeah, I was expecting to sit there. You ready to watch the game?
Yeah, obvious, you know.
I made it up before, it's hard to go there to SEC.
I did that last night.
Stadium. I keep adding to her back, and I've never heard of it.
Quarter, second quarter.
So, the dates for next year, that's the next thing while we're finishing up all this other stuff. So the dates for next year, I don't know, what's this, the second weekend and Saturday?
October 12th will be the second Saturday of October.
So do we wanna do that, or put it off a little bit longer, or the earlier the better? So,
Sure,
I mean, sometimes due to everybody's schedule, we have them at the first, second, and third. It's always in the first, second, and third weekend of October.
so right now, we're looking at the 12th, we need a motion that that's the best.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor of October 12th, 2024 annual meeting? Any opposed?
And then the membership committee meeting, Labor Day weekend,
That works out.
is that?
Well, usually work out the exact time, the Friday before. But that seems to be the best time for them to get together on their committee.
Can we do
They
it
had to
like,
change the time.
10 instead of, we did 5 this past year.
Yeah,
We'll do it at 10.
they had to change
Well,
the
that's just
time.
up to the y'all's committee on when it's convenient.
Yeah, we don't usually meet at that time. That was an accident.
That's right, yeah, they had to change it just
Had
this
to
year.
come off the boat.
That's why it was changed before. Understood.
So still do Labor Day, but then you guys can set up.
They set up
the
the
day,
day,
yeah.
I think it was usually Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was before, and then this year.
Previously,
We wanted the Sunday at 5.
Well, way back, it was Sunday at 5, and somebody picked that up. And it was by accident. Because nobody wanted to do it.
It is salary.
So you're in charge of making it happen.
I think,
We need a motion to approve the budget. We did the increase on the HOA, we got that, we got the salary increase, but the overall budget, if there's any questions, we just need a motion to approve that budget.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, approval of this 2024 budget, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Eddie says aye.
Later on in the year,
If there's nothing further that you want to discuss before the group, you just need a motion to adjourn. Clint makes the motion, second.
Second.
All
Quick question now. What internet is everybody using around here?
It's over, we just adjourned.
internet, yeah, spectrum.
That's about the only carrier
You said it might be.
that's.